So, we have explored the nature of stress and the effects stress can have on us holistically. Now let's explore some of the causes of stress. Thinking about what could be causing us stress can be overwhelming, as for many of us, there could be so many stressors in our lives. Out of all the possible sources of stress, we feel it best to determine which sources are actually stressors, and not only stressors themselves, but stressors that occur regularly and somehow negatively impacts our well-being. We also feel it responsible to remind you that stressors are not only sources that are major undesirable life happenings, like losing a job or a loved one, but also stressors are those things that might be considered more minor issues, like preparing for a job interview or a date with someone new. It's actually said that regular everyday type inconveniences to life negatively impact stress levels or affects us as much as, if not more than, the bigger life happenings. The hassle of dealing with morning traffic while running late for work, or a meeting with a teacher about a child's poor conduct on a regular, can ultimately be worse than getting a divorce or foreclosing on a house. The more conscious you are of your stressors, the better off you will be when coping, adjusting, or best managing your stress. Unknown stressors do the most damage. With this being said, know that our goal here is not to evoke fear, but to bring awareness and empower you to set yourself up for life management at its finest. Note, everyone's life is different. Everyone's perceptions are different. Therefore, not everyone's stressors will be the same, but some are. Let us now investigate and recognize some common and maybe some not so common stressors. Some uncommonly recognized stressors are people and pain. People who are mostly unavoidable in one way or another, and a lot of the time the people who may be stressors for us at any given moment may be people who are closest to us or somewhat close to us, meaning not strangers. They may be relatives, colleagues, friends, associates. People are usually deemed a stressor due to no fault of themselves outside of having the audacity to move through life as if they are free to feel and behave the way they choose. They become stressors when they express judgment or act in ways not controlled by us. This is because our ego wants us to be loved, accepted, respected, validated by another. We want people to always be trustworthy, loyal, reliable, considerate, and unselfish, but this is simply not reality. Physical pain is sometimes overlooked as a stressor. I'm not certain why this is said, but imagine the reasoning to be related to the fact that pain is internal, like something that our body is doing to us, not somebody else is doing to us. Of course, the severity of given pain itself is subjective, and some pain after becoming chronic may be cast away as a normal sensation that one just deals with without much extra attention or active thought energy. But this doesn't negate the effects of pain as a stressor in a person's life. It should be considered when determining stressors and strategies for managing stress. Some common stressors include financial problems, family conflicts, work conflicts, illness in the family, major loss, house guests, remodeling or construction to a home, planning for a wedding or going through a divorce, sexual difficulty, trouble with coworkers or a boss, trouble relaxing, feeling lonely, having or being involved in bad habits, not exercising on a regular, not eating regularly, poor self-esteem, lack of confidence, self-doubt, too many responsibilities or demands, going through a spiritual awakening, making mistakes, being around too much noise, having concerns or being concerned about what others think of you, having anxiety when in a crowd, too much work or not enough work, poor time management, trouble delegating or prioritizing, trouble being assertive, challenging work projects, trouble sleeping, being criticized by others, having car or transportation troubles, being unable to manage your emotions. Even bad weather can be a stressor. Being negatively impacted by pollution or allergies, or just being overexcited can be a common stressor. This is a long but short list that offers you a good starting point when becoming more aware of what stresses you. This can be an assistant to your determining the best ways to manage stress in life. Allow us to charge you with the task of tracking each of the before-mentioned experiences for a week, and feel free to add to the list. At the end of the week, tally up your occurrences for each experience to learn where your stress stems from. Consider your highest tallied experiences or stressors when developing your stress management strategy. I know that we've spent some time exploring stressors, or things that cause us stress, but when developing a true plan of stress-busting action, the more we know and realize about ourselves as relates to some of these stressors in our lives, the more specific, detailed, and effective of a course of action we can create for ourselves. We should know and realize our stress tolerance level, stress triggers, stress vulnerabilities, and stress response tendency. Stress tolerance levels refer to that which is the fine line between stress being good versus bad. When is stress helpful to us versus not helpful? When should we run from a threat? And when should we stop running because the threat is no longer? Stress triggers are things that directly causes us stress, or they are the stressors. For example, some of those stressors that we listed or discussed earlier in this video. Stress vulnerabilities are special people or circumstances that are stressors that we may have sort of a weakness for and allowing to cause us stress in our lives. For example, your child may be a stressor for their teacher because they talk out of turn, disrupting the flow of teaching, but you choose to accept and allow the excessive talking at unfavorable times because either you've decided that you are going to pick your battles and that one was just not worth picking, or you view it as at least they're sharing what's on their mind and I get to know about it, or any other thing, including simply ignoring their excessive talking. Stress response tendency is basically how you usually act or react or respond to a stressor. Do you lash out and curse out everything in sight? Do you eat all the comfort foods or whatever else? Are these responses healthy or not? Let's be stress aware. We are charged with yet another task to spend moments reflecting or meditating, perhaps even journaling our thoughts, understandings, and insights and revelations on our stress triggers, tolerance, vulnerability, and response. It is our full hope and expectation that the information shared in this video is helpful to you and or someone you know. If so, share if you care. Stay tuned for more stress management support, for it's on the way. Thank you for joining us.